Hey guys, welcome into the Erudite podcast. This week I am taking you to Asheville, North Carolina. I just returned a few days ago. Had a fantastic time. If you've never been, or if you haven't been in a while, I want to encourage you to go. We really did have a good time. We went right before COVID to test the Biltmore, and that's the last time we were, or to tour the Biltmore, I should say. That's the last time we were there. But on this trip, we did a lot. So I was going to split up the review, but we're going to do hotel in this one video, and I'm going to talk to you also about food. Many of you know that I am plant-based, and I want to talk to you how great the food was. And then in addition to that, I think one of the reasons now why everybody goes to Asheville, part of it is the outdoor activities. So we're going to talk about all those things on this one video. So stick around for all of that. So let's start at the hotel. We stayed down in the Biltmore Villages, and we stayed at the Courtyard by Marriott. Obviously, there are a plethora of places that you can stay in Asheville. It just depends on what you want to do and how close you want to be to your activities, and then how much you want to pay. But I was very satisfied with the Courtyard, its location, the quality. We are elite members. We travel quite a bit, and we stay with Marriott quite a bit, so we were offered some upgrades. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I don't even think we took them this time because, but anyway, that doesn't matter. What I wanted to say is the room was very well organized. It's a little different type of room. So we had the 2 queen beds, and they've done away with the dressers and all these sorts of things. You'll see in a few minutes, but the space was just arrayed really nice. As you can see, we've got to look out there to the industrial areas and to the mountains, but actually that back area was a lot of places where breweries were and art galleries. Here's where the refrigerator and microwave, I don't know if it comes custom in every room. I got to think it probably does. So you have coffee maker, refrigerator, and microwave. One of the things that we like to do is go by the store and just kind of load up in our room with waters and, snacks and different things that we may need in between meals. If you did come here to work, there was a nice desk set up front. It was very easy to be able to, put your bags and things down. This is the result of getting rid of all of the drawers. I guess some smart person decided, you know what, travelers don't unpack half the time, so let's use this space differently. And as you can see, there's a desk there and 2 smaller drawers and a place for you to put your laptop, your computer, or whatever electronics that you may be working on. And speaking of electronics, they had really good connectivity with Wi-Fi here, as well as the ability to charge numerous electronics. So if you're like me and you travel with other people, your family, and everybody's got their own electronics, there were USB plugs, there were power outlets, there were plugs on top of plugs. So I don't think you're going to have to worry about everybody being able to get there, to get to a charger. And overall, the room was really, really clean. It was very comfortable. The beds were very comfortable. We are still not having any room service. So while we were there, all we had to do was put out the little sign there that said, we didn't want the room service, and no one came. Although we did order extra towels through the app. That's one of the upgrades. If you do travel with Marriott, use that app, man. I got to tell you, I was texting with this guy on the way up there. We arrived early. Check-in time is normally 3 o'clock. We got there around noon, 12:30. Room was ready. We walked right in and grabbed the keys and went on up. Here's the restroom. Big bathroom. Big bathroom. And it was clean. We had our extra towels. The only thing that I'll say about this bathroom is the shower. You say, hey, where's the shower door to close it? Well, there isn't one. And you think it would be weird and there'd be a lot of water on the floor, but quite honestly, I guess they know what they were doing with the design, and it wasn't really. We had plenty of soaps. Of course, we always bring our own as well, but we had soaps, lotions, and shampoos, and all those sorts of things. They've gone away so much from the little hand soaps and to the bottles where you can just kind of squirt it out, and it's in the shower. But all in all, I give the room, A plus. If it was, I don't know, 1 to 5, and 5 was the best, I would give it a 5. I would stay here again. This is coming off the elevator, and of course, Biltmore is sort of what built this town. The Biltmore experience is really what a lot of tourists are coming there for. This hotel, I'm not 100% sure how old it is, but it had the feel of a new establishment. It wasn't any worn carpet. You didn't see any sorts of wear and tear on the doors or the walls. And you'll see in a few minutes, they had a really, really nice lobby area. Here we are coming in from the back. So there were back entrances, access points, and there were side access points, and of course the front. And every access point required a card. So if you're ever concerned about security, I would tell you that these guys have it down pat. Now, you want to come on your vacation and work out, they've got you covered. Here is the pool area. I know when I was a kid, one of the things that we loved to do when we went on vacation was to get in the pool, because we didn't have, an opportunity otherwise. We didn't live in a community that had a pool. So here's a pool. It's not monstrous, of course, but it is a decent sized pool for a hotel, comparatively speaking to the other hotels that I've traveled to. It's not a resort, and it's an inside stay like a Courtyard, Marriott, or Hilton or somewhere like that. They usually have these types of pools. So nothing to write home about, but if you've got little ones and they want to play in the water, plenty of water to play in. And here's the fitness center. Here's a restroom in between the two in the event that you need to change out of your wet clothes before you go back up to your room, or you just maybe have to use the restroom. They've got you covered. The fitness center was open 24 hours, which was curious because you saw the pool was only open from 7 to 10, and there was no lifeguard. Now, I'm not going to film all through here because there were people working out, but your treadmills, your free weights, and Stairmasters, it was a really nice fitness center. You can see there they've got your towels in the event that you left yours in your room. It was really nice. If you like to work out when you go on your vacation, feel comfortable that the Marriott's got you covered. There's that side entrance I was telling you about. In the event that you don't find parking in the front, you can just park on the side. You can walk right in as long as you have your key. This was an event room, and then across from here is our restrooms. And we're going to go up into the lobby now. So when you come into the check-in, you'll be doing the exact opposite of this. When I came into the hotel, and as you can see, this is the view from the front of the hotel. Again, it was very, it looked like it was really new. So I didn't do the research to see how old the hotel was, but it looks like new construction to me. So I would say less than 5 years old. If not, they've done some serious renovations because it was in really, really good condition. So as you walk through the front here, you'll see how easily accessible the check-in area is right there. They do have, as they normally do at Marriott's and Courtyards, they have their little marketplace, in case you forgot something or need some Visine or some sort of acetaminophen. There it is. Drinks, chips, and so forth. Here is the lobby. This was a new look for me. I was recently in another Courtyard. It didn't look exactly like this. So there were a lot of sectional areas where people could be and off to themselves. I don't know if that's a result of the recent unpleasantness and just trying to keep people distance from each other, but it was nice. Here's a back patio area, and at night they had those fire pits lit, and it was a very good ambient sound and atmosphere, mood. If you're here for, you need space for some sort of meeting you don't want to do in your room, they had a business center. And it looked to me like this area here, you could do Zoom meetings. And it had a closed door, so it could be secure and quiet. Again, here's the check-in area. They did have a bar. They offered breakfast. I think the bar opened each evening at about 5:30 or 6:30, something like that. And here are some cubes. I don't know if you've ever been like in a Delta Sky Miles Club or something like that, any type of Sky Miles Club, but sometimes they have work areas that are secluded or isolated, and that's kind of what this felt like. Here's some more dining space, for breakfast or for dinner, in the event they get a lot of folks. And another access point to the patio. Saw several people that were just hanging out at night on the patio with the fire pits going, and it looked very comfortable. So again, my rating for the Courtyard Marriott, and this is the location in the Biltmore Village. I'm going to put the link and the name in the show notes, in the comments there, or the description rather. So if you want to book them, you can. I think the rate was about $200 a night, something like that. It wasn't monstrous, but if that's in your price range, go for it. Now let's jump over to food. Over to the food. We started off at the White Duck Taco. This is one of the more renowned places in Asheville to eat. They had 3 locations. I didn't realize this until we had eaten here, but they had 3 locations. And we've got a falafel taco, which is what you're looking at there. Had a tofu, and they've got all these different names. And the first taco, I believe, was a jackfruit taco, and it was delicious. Now we jump over to 9 Mile. We had dinner at 9 Mile first night, and again, these are all vegan or vegetarian options. This is tofu and pasta. 9 Mile is a Caribbean restaurant, Caribbean theme. So we were having some Caribbean food, and the first thing that you saw with those, the links to what looked like sausage, is actually plant-based. So those were the Beyond Meat sausage. And then for lunch we had Chan Pai. This is an Indian restaurant. All the information I'll put into the comments so that you can determine where you would like to eat. But if you're plant-based, and whenever you travel, it's always a concern, I'll say Asheville is not one of your concerns. And finally, we had rooftop dinner one night at Hemingway's Cuba on 9th Street. And this is the view from the top, from where we were sitting. The picture here doesn't really do it justice. You have to be there. There are mountains and just landscaping was beautiful. And I had to put this picture in. My daughter was taking a picture of me and my wife, and this guy said, "Hey, do you want 3 people in that picture?" And of course, we thought he was talking about taking a picture for us, but he jumped in, and it was it was pretty funny. So anyway, good vibes, good people. It was just a really good time. Now you may choose to do a little shopping while you're there, and certainly there was room to do that. This place is called The Grove, and it is in walking distance of downtown.
Thank you so much.
A lot of shops, crystals and clothes and specialty shops are in this place if you want to go check it out. Now, for our final phase and review, we head out to the mountains. When we first got there, we went to what's called the Piscataway National Park, and this, as you can see, is a drive up. We headed up to see all these wonderful waterfalls that Asheville has. There are a lot of waterfalls. I'm going to show you 2. One is called Looking Glass, and the other was called the Moore Cove or something like that. I'll have it in the description as well. And you may say, Kelly, how'd you guys find all this stuff? Well, I use TripAdvisor religiously. I use TripAdvisor whenever I'm going to travel or go somewhere. I always use TripAdvisor for a number of reasons. Number one, they've collected all of the most Most of the important information is being collected there by prior travelers, and also their customer and traveler reviews. If you go to the Courtyard Marriott's website, for example, or some sort of write-up that they've done on their own property, of course they're going to tell you the best things about it. I want to know what customers are saying and people who've traveled to these places are saying. So before I went, I go to TripAdvisor. You can create a trip there, and you can go through and look and see about the activities that are in whatever area you're going to, whether it's Asheville or not. You can be going to, I don't know, Costa Rica. If you pull it up in TripAdvisor, other people have been to Costa Rica. They can tell you, is zip lining cool here? If so, what company do you go with, et cetera, et cetera. So I would advise that you use TripAdvisor. It makes it easy. Or just keep coming back here to the Erudite and see if we've got some content for the location that you are desirous to go. So anyway, this is Looking Glass, and this is right off the highway, so it wasn't a very long hike. The most strenuous thing was heading back up all those stairs. But it was beautiful. Waterfall here's about, I'd say about 25, 35 feet high. I'm not sure how deep the water was, but there were a lot of people over there. And it just was a good thing to see. I love being out in nature, and I love the sound and the vibration of moving water. This again was our first day up. How far was it from town? That's the only thing you got to be aware of. When you're doing these outside activities, you got to drive away from town. So I'm talking about a good 45 minute to an hour, 15-minute drive. In this case, it was only about an hour, because I think once we decided to go, it could have been in what they considered a rush hour. So it's a little bit of traffic, and getting out there, is probably about 33 miles or 40 miles, between 33 and 40 miles. And it doesn't seem far, but you're talking about you're off the highway and you're also going up into national forest. And then there's some traffic in the city. So give yourself some time. If you've got other things planned, you want to go hike, you want to go see some of these waterfalls, you can do it. It's just not around the corner. Now, Piscataway has a headquarters or a ranger station, and this is what it looks like. Once you head up into the national forest, similar to if you've ever been to Gatlinburg, it's like a welcome center, and it tells you all the different things that you can do, all the different things they're known for, safety features. A lot of people like to go hike, how to be safe while you're hiking. And in the event that you have to use the restroom, that's a good place to do it, because guess what? Once you get up there, there's no other places to go to the restroom unless you're just going outside. So the next place we went to was Moore's Cove, and it was a hike. It was about a mile and a half hiking there and back. This is the waterfall, the culminating area of your hike, of your little hike there. And there was like a cove or a cave type situation there. And man, it was really nice. This waterfall was probably better part of 50 or more feet high. And it looks like people were just kind of going up the mountain, from point to point to point like we were doing. And had we not dinner reservations, we probably would have went further. But it was really, really nice. It was worth the short hike and the drive up. So driving distance between Looking Glass and this particular hike, Moore's Cove, is only about another 10 minutes. Only about another 10-minute drive up. And it's pretty noticeable because you'll see where a bunch of cars start pulling off to the side. You'll see it. Wasn't the greatest signage, but it was okay. Now, our culminating event was whitewater rafting. We never done it. Always wanted to do it. My wife, myself, my daughter, we went whitewater rafting, and we used a company called American Adventure. And where did we find them? Yep, you guessed it, TripAdvisor. So we got there. The deal is they go out twice a day, 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. And we decided to go early because we had plans later on that day. We arrived here about 8:45, 8:50, and this is what their property looks like. This was very close to where we were staying in Biltmore Village, and this is off of the French Broad River. Okay, French Broad River. They do a number of things. American Adventure. I'm going to put their information in the description. Ryan, I think, is the owner. He was a really cool guy. I talked to him before we went up, let him know this is our first time. He was very, very kind, very patient, explained a lot to us, so we felt safe and secure. Here's where you will check in, and I got to tell you, John and oh my God, I can't remember the other guy's name, but John was our guy, and they were super, super nice. They have a driver, as you can see here. Those were the rafts that we took up. And man, I just tell you, they were nice. They were knowledgeable. I felt safe. You know, you go off into some really rural parts of North Carolina. It looks a little sketchy in some areas, but these guys were super professional. They were very knowledgeable about these rapids and their certification and being safe on the water. There was an extensive safety protocol that they followed. And John, our guy, actually lives in these areas, so he's on this river all the time. And listen, once you're out there in between these mountains and on this water, it was just fantastic. It was fantastic. I would certainly recommend American Adventures. As for John, tell him that Kelly told you to book with them. We want to support them because they're one of the smaller groups I found out that's there in terms of outdoor adventure. They're one of the smaller companies. I didn't know this. I found them on TripAdvisor, and I just picked up the phone and called. Now, I will tell you this. Although I love TripAdvisor to gather information, I don't normally book things through TripAdvisor. It's just a research tool for me. As you can see, the waters were great that day. There are two boats out there, two groups of folks, and two certified professionals taking us. So, like I said, I felt very safe. But the rapids went from a category 1 to a category 3. I think that's the right way to say it. Like, you know, relatively mild to relatively vigorous. No one came out of the boat. We all had helmets and safety glasses on, and safety helmets on. And everything went great. What I was saying about TripAdvisor is, for example, with this company, if you book through TripAdvisor directly, I think it's kind of like using your American Express card. If you go to a farmer's market, use American Express. Yeah, that's an option, but American Express takes a large percentage of, you know, service fees. And a lot of times smaller companies don't really like to take American Express because they hit them so hard with service fees. So TripAdvisor, I kind of got the feeling they're kind of doing the same thing. So if you want to reach out to Ryan over at American Adventure, I'm going to put his information in the comments or in the description. What's one of the coolest things I did in Asheville? Well, the drum circle. I had no idea this even existed. We were leaving our dinner, the rooftop, Hemingway's Cuba, and a kind gentleman saw us walk and said, "Hey, are you guys visiting?" He said, "Yeah." "Can I suggest somewhere for you guys to go?" "Of course. Follow me. I'm headed to the drum circle." Oh my God, it was so great. We must have sat out here for a better part of an hour. What happens? People, business owners, professors, homeless, and everything in between grab a drum and they come out and they sit in the center of town. And it's just this vibration, this collective energy that was so awesome. I just can't explain it. I met a lady, you'll see her in a few minutes. I met a lady and her husband from, oh my God, I can't remember what she said, but they were from Tennessee, hour and a half away. She says we drive over all the time just to sit and do this drum circle. So I thought I'd add that in the event that you're there and it's on a Friday. I believe they do this every Friday. It's just a drum circle. They come out, everybody brings their drums, and that's me sitting there actually participating because I was standing in video and the lady said, "Hey, here's a drum. Do you want a drum?" And at first I said no, but then I said, why not? Why not? So that's the lady that's sitting next to me. She was so nice. Her and her husband were very, very nice. And that's one of the things I'll tell you. Asheville is a melting pot. It's artsy. It's creative. Tons of creativity. Just we kept meeting people that were so extremely welcoming and nice and wonderful. From Ryan and his team, John and those guys over at American Adventure, to Zeke, who was my check-in person at Courtyard Marriott, to the wonderful folks that fed us while we were up there. I can't say enough about the good time we had in Asheville, and I'll encourage you to go. If you like art, you like breweries, you like outdoor adventures, you like just to hang out around some cool people, Asheville may be a spot for you. And again, I live in the Atlanta area. This was a closer drive than getting to Savannah, guys. Savannah is about 4.5 hours. This was only 3.5 hours. And there's mountains, there's waters, there are hikes, there are bikes, there are all sorts of things. So I'll encourage you guys to go. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't done so already. And we're going to close out, and I'm going to let you listen to the rest of the drum circle. Have a good one.